Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Hari Om to everybody. For the past 2-3 days, we have been elaborately discussing about the introduction of Bhagavad Gita. You would have forgotten everything, but at least 3-4 things they come back to our mind. That it deals essentially with the problem of a person.
Everyone, Swamiji, unable to hear.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Now okay. Now okay.
Now okay, Swami.
Okay.
Yes, Swamiji.
For the past few days, we have been trying to concentrate more and more on the introductory part of the Bhagavad Gita. There we found that Papa assures us that there is not a single problem left unsolved if we approach the Bhagavad Gita with the right perspective. And the second aspect that came to our mind was the end and aim of all our spiritual discipline is to attain a state where the three things, what are the three things? Spontaneity born of egoless purity and innocence. Because we are approaching Bhagavad Gita, so we should be very clear about the perspective. Otherwise, we may not be able to derive the advantage. Every time we try to find whether we are moving toward this ideal, we are not interested in the textual knowledge. Spontaneity, that means where the me and mine, the biased views, my attachment, nothing comes there. He prompts us at every moment. He makes us to act. Spontaneity we may feel, out of impulsive feeling we react. That is not what it is. Spontaneity born of egoless purity and innocence. This is not for talking to somebody. We are trying to verify ourselves, especially when we are facing a crisis, whether we are guided by this spontaneous guidance coming from within. And the second one is freedom from consciousness of the freedom. No. Freedom from what? Freedom from our own conceived notions, preconceived notions, attachments. Then the third one is the condition of ecstasy and peace. So these three, are we moving towards that? Every moment, if we better check up that our study, our research, the prompting he gives us now to plunge deep into the celestial song, the Bhagavad Gita, ultimately whether it helps me in bringing out these so that I will be able to improve the quality of my life at the individual level, family level, professional level, social level. These are the 4 tiers through which we express ourselves. So the quality of life should be, that means we must be able to derive the maximum benefit from this human birth. And that was also elaborately dealt with. Ekanath Ishwaran gave us some more clarity that it is a map and a guide, and it tries to help us what is to be dropped, what is to be taken with us. And finally, with that background, Papa also says that this is the field, Kurukshetra. This is the Kshetra. This is the field given to us by God. We cannot run away from this field. So this is the Dharma Kshetra or Kurukshetra, where we have to fight the battle of life. At these four levels, we have to fight the battle of life. Every moment there will be challenges, commitments, many things that we do not anticipate. Apparently, we feel we are not the cause for anything, but at the same time, why I should go through? So, this is how. So, every one of us has to meet the challenges of life at these four tiers. So, we are now prompted to enter into the. Yeah, it comes. It comes. So, then we enter into the first chapter. So, first chapter portrays. You leave the mythological, historical background. What does it portray to us? That means every problem stems from the me and mine. I am totally oblivious of the power behind it. That is how the whole Mahabharata war starts. My children and Pandava's children, when he says, he could have given them 5 houses, then the war could have been averted. But he could not say no to his son. That means my sons, even when he was asking Sanjaya, sitting in Delhi, what does my son and the sons of Pandu they do? So my son. So me to me, that is the starting point of all problem. And then what happens? We are relatively leading a righteous life. We have faith in God, faith in Guru. So many things are there. And still we want to fight the battle of life with that, background. And when we go to the actual field, something that deflates, punctures our enthusiasm. Again here, the me and mine. Think about it. He has been, not that Arjuna wanted this war. He has been forced to take part in the war. And who is his guide? Lord Krishna himself. But when all these things are there, I have faith in God. I am not doing I don't want to become aggressive in anything. But when I am pushed, with all my enthusiasm, I enter into this. I wanted to tackle this affair. I wanted to get over this. I want to win over this. With all that I go, suddenly something punctures my enthusiasm. What is that? Again, me and mine. So not only Dhritarashtra, think about it. All the slokas, there are 47 slokas. Arjuna portrays, and then he starts justifying his stand to withdraw. This is another tendency that develops in us unknowingly. We have faith in God. Here, Krishna is his charioteer. He knows that he has nothing to bother. But still, what happens? Finally, he sits there, leaving his Gandiva. I am not going to fight. We apply to our life. What happens? And then what happens? Then the Lord keeps on bringing various dimensions from 2nd chapter to 18 chapters. So initially he starts telling. So here Vinobaji says, if with all that, though Arjuna was, he got dispirited and sat there, I am confused, I am perplexed, I am not going to fight. He emphatically says, एवमुक्त्वार्जुना साङ्ख्ये रथोपस्थ उपाविशत् विसृज्य सशरं चापं शोकसंविघ्नमानसः. So he dropped everything. Then he sat there. He did not run away. He sat there. So that means whenever we are confronted with a problem, because of our attachment, the me and mine, when it dominates, though we have faith in God, in Guru, in scriptures, still something in us pulls us down, and then we become totally confused and we don't want to fight. We don't want to go ahead with our whatever. At that time, the Sri Krishna did not say, okay, then if that is the case, we will go back. No. That means though there was a moment of dispiritedness, his heart is still with Arjuna, Sri Krishna. That is beautifully brought out by Vinobaji. He says, Arjuna's condition helps us greatly in understanding the rest of the Gita. It reveals Arjuna's straightforwardness and honesty. The word Arjuna in fact means one who is honest, straightforward in nature. He candidly told Krishna all that he felt and thought, had hid nothing from him, and ultimately surrendered to him totally. In fact, he was already his devotee. When he made Krishna his charioteer and entrusted to him the reins of his horses, he had got ready to give into his hands the reins of his mind also. Let us do likewise. Let us not think that unlike Arjuna, we do not have Krishna to guide us. Everybody has Krishna residing in his heart as the indwelling self. He is nearer to us than the nearest. Let us bare our heart with all of its impurities and weakness before him and say, O Lord, I take refuge in you. You are my sole guide, my master. Show me the right path. I shall follow it. If we do so, Arjuna's charioteer will be our charioteer too. We shall hear the Gita from his own lips, and he will lead us to victory. Yesterday we said, Papa's key for the treasure chest. Behold divinity in every aspect of this world, Leela. Verily, it is he at play in all beings and creatures. This is amplified by Vinobaji. When we hand over the reins of our mind to Lord Krishna, he will lead us to victory. So we can say that throughout, if we try to understand the finger of God in everything, that means he has got his own plans. As an individual, as a family man, as a professional man, as a social man, he has designed, assigned, he has drafted a role for all of us. If we forget, when we are in the midst of all activities, we forget this. Again we try to understand this. Again we forget. But perseveringly, suppose we do that, slowly we will try to understand that there is a meaning in anything and everything that happens in and around me. My job is to hold back my hand on him. Behold divinity in every aspect. That has been beautifully brought out in a different manner. Let us do likewise. Let us not think that unlike Arjuna, we do not have Krishna to guide us. Everybody has Krishna residing in his heart as the indwelling self. That is why in the introduction, we also heard that Mahabharata war is happening in our own mind. The indwelling self, God, who is the life force, who is the consciousness, who is the intelligence, he is Lord Krishna. And me, the sense of individuality, is Arjuna. And in me, there are two forces working. One is the down pulling force, the other is elevating force. The Kauravas and Pandavas. So then, Kurukshetra is the battle of life. We try to make it clear into our mind. Our Gita study probably might be different from what we have heard. Our Gita study is to find out the same thing in us. To what extent it will help me to lead a peaceful life, a productive life, a prosperous life, a blissful life, a peaceful life. How but this is what we call the improve the quality of our life. All of us have some weakness, some craving, some infatuation, some attachment. It will be there, doesn't matter. We don't have to bother about that. But when we deal with men and matters, what is the norm with which we are dealing with? That is what is termed as the quality of life. So reliance upon that inner power. Even now these words are coming, the finger is going, the eyes are looking, ears are hearing, all this because the life force is within us, God is within us. We are totally oblivious of this. We think we are talking, we are showing the finger, we are hearing, we are seeing. So this is what we now and here. This is the problem we have. We are not aware of his presence in the form of life force. Jivanam sarvabhudeshu. Later on he will say in who is this indwelling reality? How can it be identified? Think. This should be very clear. So viewing it from this angle, the first chapter portrays our real state of affairs. There are so many plus points in us. But that plus point does not become a plus point because it is reluctant to exercise its option. When we go through Bhishma, Kripacharya, Dronacharya, they are all paragons of virtues. And what did they do? They were not able to influence Duryodhana. Similarly, we have in our mind, we have heard, we had Satsang, we have met so many people, we have had so many good people, inspiring people we have come across. They have all influenced us, but in a time of crisis, they don't help us. We become a prey to the attachment. So this is how we try to approach. It's a portrayal of our own individuality. And the plus point is, he did not run away from the field. He sat there, that's all. That means, because why, deep within his heart, Lord Krishna is there. So this is another clue given to us. Even when we fail, even when we forget, the moment we think about him, slowly, it gets inflated from deflation. We get charged. He is there. Beautifully he has brought out that. We have Lord Krishna in our heart. Let us not get caught in the fallacy that Krishna as a historical person. Everybody has Krishna residing in his heart as the indwelling self. The one which is activating now, in all of us, everywhere, but let us try to think about in our own way. How does the air exist? How does the earth exist? How does the space exist? How does the water exist? So all these things are there because of that power, no? Subtle and mysterious power. But those things, I don't, at least I can look at myself. My heart beats, my digestion takes place, my blood circulation takes place, my breathing takes place. All these four are not because of me, but there is another power called the life force. But when I deal with men and matters, when I open my eyes, when I see objects, I don't recognize the power. When I hear, I don't recognize the power behind the hearing, power behind the seeing, power behind the smelling, power behind the touching, tasting, power behind the thinking. That is Lord Krishna here portrayed, indwelling self. He is nearer to us than the nearest. No? Otherwise we won't exist. Let us bear our heart. He has given us a freedom to think that we are an individual. No? That is the greatest gift He has given. That is why we have to place ourselves. We should know that we have come from Him, we exist in Him, but He has given us a freedom to think that we are an individual. So when we are faced with that, we go to Him. I am unable to take a decision, please. Then He says, let us bear our heart with all its impurities and weaknesses before Him and say, O Lord, I take refuge in You. You are my sole guide, my master. Show me the right path, I shall follow it. We are now reading, No. Vinobaji says, if we do so, not prayer, we recognize, consciously we recognize that He is there now behind this very talk, behind the movement of the hand, behind the seeing of the eyes, behind the hearing of the ears. He is there. If we do so, Arjuna's charioteer will be our charioteer too. That is, behold divinity in every aspect of this world. If we do so, we go back to the spontaneity, when we drop this sense of individuality, in the sense, we surrender to Him, then He leads us to victory. Arjuna's charioteer will be our charioteer too. We shall hear the Gita in his own lips and he will lead us to victory. This is the take-home message for all of us from the first chapter. Bhagavad Gita is trying to touch and kindle these facts, truths. To understand that there is a scene there in Mahabharata. That's all. These are all what is happening. 47 slokas, most of them portray our mental state. How do we justify? Initially we come with all enthusiasm, we'll get punctured. Then we try to justify our withdrawal. So many, our mind keeps on bringing justifications. And finally we feel, yes, it has taken over completely, then we retire. But though we retire, we don't run away. Because He is with us. He has been with us. He gave us a long rope to do all these things. And finally He tickles and makes us aware. That is how the second chapter starts. Are we clear about this?
Swami, Peachfully brought Vinobaji.
Eh?
Peachfully, Swamiji.
Repeat uncle.
Vinobaji?
Peachfully brought. Swamiji, regarding in first chapter, peachfully brought Vinobaji.
Beautifully word.
Beautiful. Beautifully written.
So this we should be very careful. For first, that itself gives us, from first chapter, what do I gain? There will be many trying occasions God will make us to pass through. At all these four levels: individual level, family level, professional level, social level. And then, if we take refuge in Him, why? Because He is with us. He is not outside. So Papa's word, behold divinity in every aspect. Verily, He is at play in all beings and creatures. He is at play. He has given me a sense of individuality. He has given me a field, and I am playing. But I have forgotten. I am totally identifying myself with the part I play, totally oblivious of His presence within me, or He has ordered me to act. If the moment I turn towards Him, then I am at ease. I may be playing. All the people, viewers will see me as shouting, as laughing, as dying, or as losing or gaining. But heart of heart, I know that He wants me to play that part. Just like an actor coming from the green room to the stage to perform the act, the director keeps on prompting him. He has already done the rehearsal and he comes and plays. He totally identifies himself with the part he plays, becomes one with it. But still, somewhere in the corner of the heart, he knows he is only acting. So this is what Papa wants us to develop. Through Bhagavad Gita, he is touching and kindling this. With this background, we enter into the second chapter. While reacting to objects, emotions, thoughts, and situations, we normally start from our me and mind level. The sense of individuality is caged in the body-mind-intellect complex, which everyone feels is the planner, actor, enjoyer, sufferer. Sri Krishna first touches upon the transient nature of this equipment and then points out the immortal nature of the core of our being, which is in all equally. To slowly free us from the grip of the sense of individuality, the Lord prescribes various steps, out of which the most important one is to keep up a sense of equanimity in all circumstances. Slowly, he has to, I am sitting there, totally deflated, totally dejected. So first he has to tell me so many things by which I get up. I must be prompted to think about the duty, And if I run away, what will happen? Even at the individual level, you will be mocked at. All these techniques, tactics, Sri Krishna plays. So Sri Krishna first touches upon the transient nature. Okay, we are here in the case of Arjuna, he was talking about they are all our cousins, our teachers, our revered ones. So he says these are all transient. They have got a beginning and an end. So when we are on the play, life's play, if you are always conscious of the transient one and the eternal one. Two, 3 days back, suddenly some clarity was coming. We are given I think we have already shared, but better to remember it again. Somebody invites us for a good feast. So many dishes are there which we like most. And we eat to our heart's content. We enjoy. We say first class. After 4 or 5 or 6 hours, the urge comes to ease ourselves. We go to the washroom, sit on the commode. Whatever is needed for the body, whatever is needed for the bone and blood, it is taken, and whatever is not needed is purged out in the form of stools and urine. Though it was a delicious one at the time of eating, the moment it goes out, none of us go near this, We suddenly realize the transient nature. 6 hours back or 7 hours back, what was my attraction toward those forms? And now after 5 or 6 or 7 hours, what is my attraction? The same thing. It has undergone some process, not outside. It has undergone certain process in my own mind. So we start thinking about it, The transient nature God gives. That is why we now remember that Papa in Quest of God, when he was in Ajmer, when he was forced to go and lie down on the ground where he was smelling urine, he did not like us, he did not say, oh, I can't. He immediately recognized this. What was acceptable was taken by this body, and later on it purged out which is not acceptable to us. We don't have to go anywhere else to find out these answers. At one time, what was so dear to us, after some time, think about it. When we were all small children at home, what was our relationship with our parents? When we grew, when we became individual and we have our own families, what is our relationship with our parents? Not that it is not there, but you see the degree. Then we try to understand nothing is existing forever. It keeps on changing, My preferences and priorities, my likes and dislikes at the time of my student life, my adolescent life, my adult life, my youth life, my middle-aged life, it has changed, So this transient, Sri Krishna is trying, that means the indwelling reality is trying to draw our attention to this. Like this, what we are sharing. Sri Krishna first touches upon the transient nature of this equipment and then points out the immortal nature of the core of the being. I have changed. I say I have changed. From the child level to the adolescent to youth, youth to the middle age to now senior citizens. I was a child, I was so and so, then what happened? But this I is common enough. Something that is common in us, which has undergone all these changes, and I try to shift as per the changes that were taking place, my priorities, my preferences, my likes and dislikes, my rights and wrongs, my cravings, my infatuation, everything kept on changing. But suddenly I realized there is one who is witnessing the change. This is what he says. Sri Krishna at first touches upon the transient nature of this equipment and then points out the immortal nature of the core of the being, which is in all equally. to slowly free us from the grip of the sense of individuality. Because it is the sense of individuality which says, which defines these preferences, priorities, likes and dislikes, all these, whatever we have explained, it all pertains to this sense of individuality. In its journey, from day one, we can't say day one, when we were children, we were not aware, say after 1 or 2 or 3 years, slowly we started. And then, to slowly free us from the grip of the sense of individuality, the Lord prescribes various steps, out of which the most important one is to keep up a sense of equanimity in all circumstances. How can we keep up equanimity? Samatvam yogamuchyate. We try to go back our own life. We have seen in our family life, professional life, social life, how people who have got this equanimity, sense of equanimity, how they have tackled issues. And what was that? That means, we are not getting attached to any particular. We view it not from our own colorization, but we view it dispassionately. You are the boss, 2 subordinates come and they place before you, solve no many problems, and you are hearing one by one, individually you are hearing, then you make them aware that what you are doing is wrong. Convince him, not that you are imposing. If you impose, the resistance will be there. But if you transform them by touching and kindling the goodness in them, recognizing the goodness in them, you get transformed. At family level, professional level, social level, everywhere. In ashram, many people come. So we have this, We observe this in many individuals, how they are perturbed. Why do they come here? What am I to do when they ask? Suppose we identify ourselves totally with one side, we will not be able to give them any guidance. So we try to hear both and then try to understand, pray to him for guidance, and then we pass on that guidance to them. This is what Lord prescribes, various steps, out of which the most important one is to keep up a sense of equanimity in all circumstances. Not fixing our mind on the fruits of action in which we are engaged would also help in remembering the subtle and mysterious power God behind every thought, every word, every deed. Not fixing our mind in the fruits of action, expectations. Then the equanimity will not be there. Chinmayananda ji is that powerful words, Disappointments can come only to those who make appointments with the future. We are going for an interview. We expect that we will be selected. For some reason, we are not selected. That totally disappointed, So he says, disappointment can come only to those who make appointments with the future. Do make appointments, not with the future, but with the present. I have done my best. Of course, they may have their own reasons. God has got some other purpose for me. So come back and try again. This is equanimity. So only by exercising self-control and contemplating upon the indwelling and all-pervading reality, one will be able to maintain the samatva attitude. This will pave the way to accept that everything happens only by His will. People like us who have been following Papa's teachings, to us it is not new. We have heard, though we have not been able to implement in our life. Almost every day we hear this through so many ashram activities, that it is his will alone that prevails. So it is not something new to us. So we were not bringing into our life pattern. That was the only thing. It's not that we do not disagree. We have faith in that. We feel it should be done, but we have not what do you call it, integrated to our life. So that is why when an issue comes, we immediately take an individual standpoint. Even in ashram, our old pattern comes and stands before us. Not that we do not know, but we are unable to. So now he is suggesting, Lord Krishna is suggesting to the second chapter, that we should have clarity in this. Let us go a little forward from slogas to slogas, then we can come back again. So 1 to 10, there are 72 slogas. A quick run. Probably might give us some idea, no? Some bird's eye view. 1 to 10, Arjuna's depressed state of mind is picturized. 11 to 12, realize that whatever is happening in and around us is already decided by the Almighty. In other words, everything is pre-scripted. Krishna, as his close friend, takes the freedom of pointing out the lapses in a blunt manner, and at the same time makes him aware of his capabilities and potentialities to enthuse him. Some techniques, We are in the field. We are acting. We are playing our part. So there should be some clues, some hints to energize us, to vitalize us. So Krishna employs that method. Wonderful method. When I keep on thinking, I should know where my lapses are by introspection. And at the same time, I should know that I am not invalid. He is with me now. The treasure house is with me. That has come from my faith. So I am capable. Though certain things pull me out and makes me dull, not energetic, not active, but still I keep on thinking, he is with me, he has been with me. So he will not leave me. He has been protecting me all the while. Whenever I have assumed that this is protection, I would have failed. But now when I look back, he has been with me, guiding me, protecting me at every stage. And because I am his product, all that is there, we see the potentialities are there also in me in a miniature form. This comes back, 13 and 14. Then, though after hearing the words of Krishna, Arjuna becomes receptive to some extent, he was not fully convinced. This is how we tackle the issue. How do we tackle a problem? This is how we tackle. We train our mind. The mind, Arjuna stands for our sense of individuality in the form of the mind intellect. So we do some introspection. Though the other tendencies will come and portray before us, you should not have done like that, you should not have talked like that, you should not have thought like that. Okay, well, then finally, this comes back again. In our case, Papa's words comes back again and again. That means he may have some purpose in making me to go through that. Ultimately, everything is to make me perfectly all right. So this comes back to me always. Though after hearing the words of Krishna, Arjuna from 19 to 30, Sri Krishna then builds up the argument about the transcendent reality and the perishable nature of the body, which helps to clear his misunderstanding and asks him to fight. More than 10 stanzas, 10 or 11. Perishability of the body. So many examples. Transient. Just like as we said, at one time we thought, that is excellent, nice. After some time we lose the charm. And various arguments. Not an argument which you cannot understand. You and I can easily understand. And then Krishna also reminds him about the duty of a Kshatriya and that he should not run away from the same. Krishna advises him to solve the problem from a higher level, at the same time do what is needed for the hour. Suppose we are running an organization where there is a dereliction of duty, disobedience, we take disciplinary action, no? But at the higher level, we don't find any prejudice. We take action, but we don't develop any biased attitude, prejudice. The mother punishes the child, but at the same time, the mother views it as a corrective measure. Or the father as a corrective measure. So everything is done. Apparently, outwardly, we may name it as harsh one, but it is not so. We have seen even grown-ups, when the injection is given, how they become restless, cry, tears come. So the doctor or the nurse gives injection not to give them pain, but pain is inevitable when the needle goes inside. So their attitude is to lessen the pain through a pain. So like that, when we deal with men and matters, all these things are likely to come. So we take action at the same time from a higher level. Krishna also reminds him about the duty of a Kshatriya, that he should not run away from the same. Krishna advises him to solve the problem from a higher level and at the same time do what is needed for the hour. And Shloka 39 to 46, Krishna emphasizes to go along with the duties and responsibilities which are called one's Swadharma. Along with it, protect human values also, which knits the creations together. And while doing that, we have to ensure that our individual views on any aspect should not be detrimental to the welfare of all. We have got a view and we think that it will be beneficial for everybody. But when it happens, it need not be the same for everybody. It should be beneficial to all. During our Mauna session, we ask for their feedbacks. To us, certain things, we can try this way. So we do that. But through the feedback, we come to realize that some amendments are necessary. Like that, if we stretch in all our activities, broadly, we have got some ideas, no doubt. Our intellect says, because of this experience, this is how we should do. But don't take it as granted that it will be beneficial to everybody as you think. So we have to ensure. And then, these are all the points for our improving the quality of our life. Then nobody can avoid actions but should not appropriate the fruit of actions to oneself only, because there are so many other contributory factors that have enabled to have the fruits of others. Hence it is to be shared with all. Many of you might remember Vinobaji is that example of mother. As a child, Vinobaji saw in their compound, in their land, a papaya tree. So then he was looking at it, flowered, the fruition starts. He asked the mother. Mother said, not now, then it will be ripe. So every day he was trying to see to what extent, and it was becoming ripening was going on. And one day when he knew that it is fully ripened, he ran to the mother and said, can I cut it? Yes, you go, pluck it, cut it, remove the skin, make it into pieces, go to everybody's house and then distribute and come back. So he thought, he would get the major share. Then the mother says, what all contributory factors are there? We feel we have nurtured, we have nourished it, we have sown it, we have watered it. Water is not ours, She did not say that, but we try to dig out air, sun, and the first seed, we did not do that. The seed has come from another fruit. That fruit has come from another seed. That seed has come from another fruit. Where from it started? It has to start from that origin, the first. So like that, when we do that, so many contributory factors are there for, apparently I may say, I have grown this. So we should appropriate with everybody. The karmanye vadikaraste mavaleshu katachana, if we try to go deeper into this, then only how it is related to our workaday life. How we cannot appropriate everything. Whatever I work, I feel I have done this, it is my. No. There are so many other contributory factors that have helped you to succeed. So here it is bluntly, nobody can avoid actions but should not appropriate the fruits of action to oneself only, because there are so many other contributory factors that have enabled you to have the fruits of action. Hence it is to be shared with all. This will all reduce the me and mine, Otherwise, I have to. Equanimity and excellence are needed for such a state of mind. Equanimity means free from attachment and pairs of opposites. Excellence means dedication while involved in all types of actions becomes full and not partial. Yoga karma sukhalam. Efficiency in action. Whether we are cooking, whether we are sweeping, whether we are dusting, whether we are bringing out a software, whether we are administering an office, whether we are handling the social activities, an individual one, anywhere. First of all, I should be specific in everything. Not, the overall, no. Whatever I do, I should be very specific. And then, how does the efficiency come? Whole-souled involvement. Not partial. And what will be the result? Not only that I become full, but when it is shared with all, they all enjoy. Everything that we enjoy now in the form of creature comforts, anything, whether it is a mic, whether it is a laptop, whether it is a flask, anything has come out only because of this efficiency in action. And we are all enjoying it, The language, in order that it doesn't become haphazard, that is why the grammar aspect was brought in. Perfect. So equanimity and excellence. Even if we forget about the second chapter, everything, if these two are there, That will help us a lot to improve the quality of our life. Equanimity and excellence. And then, whether it is possible, Arjuna asks this question. Then he says, those who are riveted in this, steadied in this, they will be able to do. So then he asks Krishna to define who is the man of steady wisdom. Most important aspect in this 72 slokas. We remember that word in our mind, in the canvas. The Lord brings out 18 super strokes of the word picture. This is how Chinmayanji put it. In our mind, that is the canvas. These 18 strokes, 18 slokas, superb strokes of what? Word picture. All these 18 slokas, through that word, it touches and kindles, elaborately discussed. Sthita Prajna. It is already 4:25. We cannot take a Vande Bharat because it is very, very important. So we will take it up tomorrow. So this much we try to understand. The first is chapter and second chapter. How does it relate to our life? That is what we are interested. Taking Bhagavad Gita and the story behind it as an instrumental cause, and we try to understand through our own life, so that our journey will become useful for us. Not in the sense of any academic or textual knowledge, we are not interested. Because we are in the field now. Every day he brings out so many trying moments about which we have no clues, about which some of which we have clues. We have created it for ourselves. So how do I repair the whole damage? How do I come out of the hurdles? This should be there. So in all this, we should not forget that our hold on him, our reliance on him. Vinobaji is that statement. If we do so, Arjuna's charioteer will become our charioteer too. And he will talk to us the Gita. That is the Gita. Gita is that. How to improve the quality of my life, that is Gita. That he will give to me in my own way. And he will lead us to victory. So every time we will repeat that particular stanza and it comes out in the form of spontaneity, born out of egoless purity and innocence. Very important word for us. And a consciousness of freedom from all our bindings. And also it takes us to a condition where we feel peaceful, serene, calm. So these three we will try to go through at every chapter, and some points we would have got some idea. Again we plumb deep into it, we go through it, we read it, we reflect upon it, and then something will remain with us which will help us. That is the storehouse of our weapon. That will help us to tackle the problem, not simply hearing or doing it. So manana, deep manana is required. And one more assurance based upon our experience is that when we are traveling like this, when we take up this journey like this, mysteriously so many dimensions will be given to us by him. It is not bound by anything that we have heard. It will be absolutely original. And he will try to lay our hand on what is needed from outside, and he will also touch and release. There's a beautiful word, article the other day we read, entitled Release of Divinity. Release of Divinity. A very, very, very inspiring article of Papa. So the divinity that is stored in us, it just comes out. The aperture there gets open and it comes out when we take it up with all seriousness. So that is the great assurance we have. I am there. I have been with you. I have been with you. I am with you. Always when we refer to him, which is put in a different way, behold divinity in every aspect of this world Leela. So we are trying to understand more effectively of this Papa's words. Behold divinity in every aspect of this world Leela. Verily it is he at play in our beings and creatures. Every chapter we go through only to get some more clarity and some more workable methodology. Not a tall talk, workable methodology. More of it we will, so the rest of the 18 slokas, the rest of the attributes of a Sthita Prajna, a man of steady wisdom, probably that might help us. It requires a full day, yes, exclusively, because 18 slokas, we can extract the contents and try to understand it in the way in which all of us can understand, not as a textual subject. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Saturday, Sunday will not be there. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai
We are trying now through this Nama chanting to connect ourselves to the indwelling reality. When he says, behold divinity in every, that divinity has to be connected, The sense of individuality has been asked to hear or talk. But there should be something by which we are connected. The link is established. That is why in the opening and the closing we are chanting Ram Nam. So with that bhavana we should chant. He has provided everything to us. He has been providing everything to us. And the sense of individuality is functioning through the organs. But there is a likelihood that we may lose the link. So this Nama chanting at the close is to try to, correct. He has provided, he is providing, he is trying to guide me to make us know that we are chanting. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Ram Swamiji.
Pranam, pranam, pranam.
Pranam Swamiji.
Swami.
Pranam Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Namaskaram,
Swamiji.
Namaskaram, namaskaram.
Pranam.
Namaskaram. Hari Hari Om, pranam.
Hari Om Swamiji.